Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 11, Episode 10, Affairs and Accidents. We start this episode with a packing montage. Everybody is getting ready to head off to La Quinta, where Kyle has her desert home. First we see Rinna, then we see Dorit's house, and Jagger says to Dorit, "Mommy, you're only leaving for 2 days. Why are you packing all these things?" Dorit, "A girl needs options." And that was Phoenix's cue to go into the other room and pick out another outfit for Dorit. Kyle's already there at her house in La Quinta, and she is on the phone with Sutton right now saying, "I can't wait till you guys get here." Sutton said, "I'm stressed because I haven't packed at all." And then the camera shows us Sutton just sitting in front of a completely empty suitcase. Kyle tells her that Erica, Garcelle, and Crystal are going to be staying at a hotel nearby because Erica needs some personal space. And what do Garcelle and Crystal need? I mean, Crystal, I get, probably wants to be someplace where she can lock the door and be naked. I'm not exactly sure why Garcelle is staying there. Now we see Erica at her clubhouse. Do you remember that place that she had in the city that she kept another closet full of clothes and she would, I don't know what she did there exactly, to be honest with you. But it doesn't matter because she now needs to sell it. She has found someone that also wants her furniture too, so she's kind of leaving it as is. And she's with her assistant Laya, and they're just reminiscing about all the good old days there. And it's things like, well, the ladies met there for a drink before they went somewhere else. It just, or like last week when Sutton came there to look at some of the outfits in the closet there. I don't remember it being like a huge part of her life, or it certainly wasn't a huge part of the show. I don't think any of us are going to be like super broken up about not seeing it anymore. But she very dramatically says goodbye to the place by turning off the pretty mess neon sign. Unfortunately, it turns off with like a few switches, so the effect was a little less dramatic. All right, Kyle is in the kitchen of her La Quinta home, and I do kind of remember this place. Now she's FaceTiming with Garcelle, who is going to actually be there a day later because she still has to film the reel, and she said, "I'll come right after filming, but that won't be until the next day." Okay, so Rinna is the first to arrive. Kyle puts her in the room right next to the front door, which at first I thought, but it is actually very nice inside. I don't know if Ramona would have been happy in that room, but Lisa was fine with it. Okay, so Dorit comes now, and she says she's so happy to be staying in the house. And Kyle said Garcelle wasn't comfortable staying in the house, probably because 3 of them are just getting over COVID. And Kathy wasn't comfortable staying at the hotel, so she just switched out Garcelle and Kathy. Now Kathy arrives carrying a candle for Kyle, literally the size of a bucket. Literally. Kathy apparently has never driven 2 hours all by herself before. Her knees are hurting. And now everyone's like bringing in their stuff from the cars. Kathy goes, "Do you have a man around to like help? Because some of these things are very heavy. Heavier than a glass bucket filled with wax? Because you carried that in all by yourself." Anyway, Kyle's like, I don't have help here." And then she looks at Dorit. "Did you bring a houseman?" In her confessional, Kyle goes, "Sorry, Kathy, this is not the Waldorf Astoria." But turns out Dorit basically does have a houseman with her because she is getting her driver to carry all of her luggage into the house. 2 days, guys. They're there for 2 days. In Crystal's confessional, she said that she and Sutton have been texting back and forth a little bit, so she thinks things are getting a little bit better between her and Sutton, but she's still very happy to be sleeping in a hotel with a door that locks. Now Kyle is making her famous lasagna, and she and Dorit and Lisa Rinna are talking about Erica. Somebody said she had to meet Tom in court today, and Kyle's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Dorit goes, "I read what happened." And Kyle goes, "What?" Dorit, "The government froze all of his assets because it was determined that at least $2 million was used inappropriately." In her confessional, Dorit said, "Imagine not being able to take your own money out of the bank." Yeah, the whole point is that it probably isn't your money that's in your bank account. That's why it's being frozen by the government. Anyway, she says that it happened to me when PK had a lawsuit against him. We see the flashback. PK, I'm sorry, babe. It makes me really sad. This all happened before I knew you. It's not fair. Dorit's like, that was scary. And I think it's nothing compared to what's going on with Tom. Now Dorit tells them that she thinks that his lawyers are asking for a medical evaluation of Tom because they don't think he fully understands the situation. Crystal has joined them. Now Dorit reads the article out loud. In the meantime, we see Erica getting out of her car at the hotel, and she's got Diablo with her. Or what's that dog's name? Carmen Santiago or something. In Lisa Rinna's confessional, she said, the most disturbing part about this is the $2 million that was supposed to go to the orphans and widows of the victims of that plane crash. In Crystal's confessional, she says she's reserving judgment because for someone like Tom Girardi, $2 million is nothing. You just write a check and make things go away. So none of this really makes sense to me. Okay. It's because he doesn't have the $2 million. Ask Mikey where it went. Anyway, Rinna calls her again. She had called Erica before and there was no answer. So Rinna calls her again now. And she does answer this time. And it's, the big fake, hey, Erica, how are you? We're all here at the house, so come on, get yourself over here. Meanwhile, Dorit calls home, and Jagger basically rips her a new one for getting to go to Palm Springs, while he just has to stay home in the boring house. Really? Your beautiful house that looks like Christmas elves came in the middle of the night and decorated it with lollipops and magic? That house? That's not doing it for you? What are you, like 5? You need to get a couple rounds of golf in Palm Springs? Things could be worse, Jagger, okay? You could be spending the weekend in Erica's shitty little house. So while Kyle and Rinna are washing eggplants in the sink, they're just trying to get in all the obvious obligatory jokes that they can. And Rinna sees that Sutton and Crystal are at the bar together, and she's like, oh, look. They're getting along. And Kyle goes, yeah, well, it's all fun and games until someone returns a jacket. Which Kyle has had a couple of funny lines there, I have to admit. I actually do think Kyle has a good sense of humor. Okay, so now Erica arrives like some twisted form of a celebrity. I'm not sure I will ever really understand this devotion that all the other women have for her. And I hate to keep bringing up Denise Richards, and by hate I mean secretly love, but as confused as I am by the rallying around Erica that these women do, I was equally confused by how vehemently they turned against Denise Richards. I mean, on the one hand, you have Denise's crime, which is she denied seducing Brandy Glanville. And then she didn't want to talk about it on camera and used the bravo, bravo, bravo thing, which made the ladies just turn on her, and definitely no benefit of the doubt was given. And then on the other hand, you have Erica, who possibly knew that her husband stole settlement money for the family members of a horrific plane crash and possibly used that money to fund Erica's career. Then possibly divorced Tom in an effort to protect some of the money from going to its rightful owners. You have Erica, who, just like Denise, is denying these charges, and the ladies are all considering Erica innocent until proven guilty. I'm not going to judge. Nobody's going to judge. Crystal's not going to judge. Kyle's not going to judge. Nobody's judging until the facts come out. I don't know. All I can say is, Erica, you are damn lucky that Brandy Glanville wasn't one of those widows. Things might be very different here for you with these ladies. Anyway, Rinna hugs Erica because she can. And then Dorit runs into her arms from across the room or across the house. I don't know where she came from, but she came running into her arms. She then wipes a tear from Erica's face. And Kyle, who is already sympathetically crying herself, also, big hug. Yep, Kyle, Dorit, they've all been staying 6 feet from everybody else, elbow bumping to say hello, or Air hugs, air hugs. She needs our support. So Erica says it's not okay. It's not gonna be okay. So now the ladies all flit around her like busy little drones protecting their queen. Oh, come sit down here. Sit next to me, Erica. Someone get her a tissue. I'll do it. It is insane to me. Guys, do we need Camille Grammer to knock some sense into these people? Erica's husband and her, by proximity, are being accused of horrific things. Winning a settlement for these poor family members of the victims of this plane crash and never delivering the money to them. And they're not the only ones. If you watch that Hustler and the Housewife, there was a guy who was in his house exploded. There was a lawsuit. Tom won that family money. His girlfriend was killed. He's been burned over most of his body and he needs multiple surgeries. He's had multiple surgeries. He needs many more. He's not using this money to go to Tahiti. He needs it for his surgeries. His mother was on the show. They haven't seen a dime of the money they won. There was other stories as well. I mean, embezzling money, whatever Joe Giudice did, whatever PK did, I mean, it's nothing compared to the ugliness of this. I mean, there are faces that we can put to this, to the tragedies, who have not seen the money yet. Side note, I'm not denying that the divorce is real or that Tom was vicious, that Erica's word, vicious to her during their marriage, cold, withholding affection, or any of that. That could all have been very true. It's just that she lived with that for 22 years. Why now? And if it is just a coincidence, then how unfortunate for Erica, because it looks real shady. So now Erica starts to tell everyone what happened in court that day. Sutton, were you there? And she said, no, it was in Chicago. Why Chicago? Because it's a federal case. I don't know what that means. Do all federal cases have to be tried in Chicago? No. Kathy, have you talked to Robert Shapiro? And Erica goes, I know Bob very well. If you want to just, pick up the phone and say hi. And Erica goes, I just don't know if he's Team Tom or not. Sutton, have you talked to Tom at all? Erica, absolutely not. When I left, I left. And that hurts too. It's hard because when you're married to someone for 20 years and you know that they're struggling and not in a good place. But I am relieved in some ways because his attorney feels that he's not mentally well. This is something that I've said. We flash back to 4 days ago when she said it to Kyle about, his hearing and vision going, and he's denying it. Although I do feel like last year when she had that lunch with Garcelle and Garcelle was asking what Tom was like and all that, I thought she said something about him being, he's totally with it and sharp. I could be wrong, but I feel like she did say some things like that. I wish Bravo would go back to that conversation, too. Anyway, Erica goes, and no one would listen to me. I tried and I tried. But maybe now he can get the help that he needs. In her confessional, this is a new look, by the way. She says the deterioration of Tom's mind, body, and, well, maybe not soul. That may have deteriorated a long time ago. Anyway, she says the deterioration has happened over a long period of time. And it's tough to watch somebody slowly unravel. Yeah, that must be tough to watch. So then you decide to divorce him and talk about how mean and vicious he is. But now he's a doddering old man who can't see and hear. Sorry. I think she's been told to play up the mental incompetency story. Yeah, the mean and vicious guy who won't hug his wife isn't playing so well in court. So now Sutton is confused as to why Erica is getting dragged into this legal stuff. And Dorit and Kathy quickly defend Erica. She doesn't even have to say anything. Kathy said that when her husband asks her to sign these 50 papers, do you think I'm going to go through all of them, reading everything? No, I just signed them because I trust my husband. Okay. Guess what? I trust my husband too. But if he's putting papers in front of me to sign, I'm at least going to ask him what they are. And yeah, I'm probably going to read them too. Not because I don't trust him, but because, I read things before I sign them. I'm crazy that way. So Erica makes the point that at first the press was calling her a blonde bimbo, a gold digger, etc. But now somehow they think I'm a financial mastermind, hiding assets. Well, not exactly. I mean, I don't think anybody thinks this is all Erica's idea, but they might think that you're going along with what you're told to do as his gold digging bimbo. To protect the money that's his and yours. Okay, so now Sutton changes the subject and asks her about her shitty little house. Are you settling in? Well, we got a shitty little tree, and we put up some shitty garland. Side note, who's we? Is she talking about her and TiVo? What is that dog's name? Anyway, Sutton tells her, it doesn't really feel like Christmas, but you have to kind of force it. Erica goes, well, I'm going to wake up in my shitty little house, so I may as well enjoy it. Yeah, at least have a bone in Dingo's stocking, Sutton, let me tell you, my dad shot himself 2 days before Christmas. That's horrible, but also it's not a competition, Sutton. Erica goes, how old were you? Sutton, 32. Sorry. It's not funny at all. At any age, it's tragic. It's just that I know Erica thought she was a child because you don't ask somebody how old were you? You know what I mean? If they're an adult. Anyway, Sutton is saying, the key is you have to keep up these Christmas traditions. That's the only way you're going to get through it. Erica, what did your mom say about it? Sutton, it was also her first day of retirement. And she was home. Then in her confessional, Sutton said, my mom doesn't share a lot, but she was pissed. Then we see a never before seen flashback to after Sutton's launch party for her store, Sutton, and she's crying and her mom is with her and she said, I wish you had come to the opening. This was a really big deal for me. And then she tells her mom, there's a lot of dad in this. The name of the store, Sutton, is in her dad's handwriting. And she's asking her mom, don't you miss him even a little? And her mom goes, you can't expect me to feel the same way about him that you do. He's your dad. He was my husband. I had a different relationship with him. And the fact is she doesn't miss him. And that upsets Sutton a lot. But, she's entitled to however she feels too. Plus, if you ask me, Sutton's dad was punishing his wife. Who does that not only 2 days before Christmas, but the day she retired and she's home? And that felt like it was very pointedly meant to punish, I mean, I could be wrong. Mental illness is what it is. And he could have just had all of his own reasons for doing it when he did it, but it just kind of seemed purposeful in a way. All right, so Kyle is almost done with her lasagna that she's been preparing this entire episode. And Kathy comes in to kind of micromanage things a little bit. Then she's being playful because there's some stale bread that Kyle's like, oh no, Mauricio was supposed to throw that out. That's from when he was here with the kids. And Kathy is clicking the stale bread together like castanets and teasing her. And then Kathy puts it in a little bowl with a towel and puts it out on the table. I mean, it's a funny joke, but who are we kidding? These women aren't going to touch bread. No one's going to know. Erica and Rinna are outside waiting for dinner to get ready. And they're having a conversation about Kyle's pool or something. And then Erica goes, yeah, I turned the pool on for 3 days and I got the bill. Rinna, it was a lot. Erica, well, how about this? I kept the old pool heated for 20 years and never got in it. And I never saw the bill. I kept the shitty pool heated for 3 days, saw the bill, and it was like, f that. In the kitchen, Kyle drops a bottle of cinnamon or something, and it breaks, the glass breaks, cinnamon gets everywhere, and she's asking Kathy to help sweep it up, and Kathy grabs the tool that Mauricio uses to clean the grill. And she's sort of just pushing it under the cabinet. I don't exactly know what Kathy's doing, but in any case, Erica to the rescue with a broom because she likes to sweep, which I'm guessing is a recent discovery. Okay, so as the ladies sit down to eat now, Kyle says, my daughter just texted me and she said, Drake follows Lisa Rinna, so you better up your game. Good to know that Kyle is raising her daughters to be just like her. Kathy Hilton, who is obsessed with the night sky, tells everyone for like at least the second time now, this eclipse hasn't happened in 600 years. Then she's like, tell him, Kyle. And Kyle goes, there's a new moon and we're supposed to be getting rid of any toxic energy and manifesting what we want moving forward. Kathy goes, yeah, like have a candle and then blow it out. Erica grabs the candle that's on the table and she closes her eyes and everyone around the table gets quiet and sad and pitiful expressions on their faces. And then Erica blows out the candle. It was very emotional, guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but new moons happen about once a month. So I'm thinking Kyle got that wrong or Kathy got it wrong because even like lunar eclipses happen more often than that. And I actually started to look up what lunar event was happening at that time, but I was heading down an astrological rabbit hole, and when I started reading about Beaver full moon lunar eclipse, I was like, I'm out. Erica gives another jaw-dropping confessional when she says, I'll try anything at this point. A prayer circle, a lunar eclipse, a quaalude, anything. I don't care what it is. Except going to confession. That's where I draw the line. I am not confessing. Okay, again, Erica, I wouldn't say stuff like that right now. It sounds like you have something to confess. Now Erica tells the table of ladies, you're all my friends. And I appreciate your support because I do believe it. And I know we're going to talk about it. Kyle. Can I ask you a personal question? It's always Kyle. She's like, just because I know you're like open to hearing this kind of stuff, but what happens with Erica Jane? Erica, I don't know. It's an expensive business. I let go my office. I turned in the key earlier today. Kyle, are you going to be solely responsible financially for yourself? Again, Kyle is asking questions she's afraid of. She can't imagine being solely responsible for herself financially. Erica goes, I am right now. I have been since November when I moved out. Kyle, you're not getting help from him like moving forward? Kyle, were you not listening when Dorit told you that his assets have been frozen? He might go to jail. He owes these families millions of dollars. What financial help do you think Tom is capable of giving Erica right now? Erica goes, oh no. Dorit, I hated reading that his legal team argued to not allow you spousal support. Oh yeah, that's tragic. Kathy, the richest man in the world will try to take the jewelry back. Thanks, Kathy. Sutton is wondering if Tom might just try to rush through and like get the divorce over with quickly to like have that out of the way and then just concentrate on the other legal battles. And Erica says, oh no. And she's like, I don't think there's any money to get. She thinks he should turn in his bar card because he should no longer be practicing law. So again, more fodder for the incompetency defense. All these conversations that she's having with these women on this show are going to be what the defense team points back to. All the times she said he was out of it. He was deteriorating before my eyes. This has been going on for years, like all those little sound bites. Even Rinna in her confessional is like, well, the last time I saw Tom, he seemed very charming and with it, but you never know, I guess. Okay. If this was Denise Richards, you would have sworn on a stack of Bibles that her husband was sharp as a tack. Anyway, Erica has a captive audience while she tells the story of Tom and how his whole identity is wrapped up in being a lawyer. That's all he ever wanted his whole life, was to be a good lawyer. Well, he shouldn't have stolen money from his clients. And then she goes, these last few years when I noticed him declining, he held on even tighter. Side note, I'm not saying this like proves anything, but I'm just asking you guys, if you noticed this happening with your husband, wouldn't you tell somebody, like a sister or your mother or like your friends? Wouldn't you just, like, when you're going out with a friend, confide in like your best friend? Oh my God, this is scaring me. My husband I think he has dementia. Like, I don't know. The fact that she hasn't told anybody until now, that she's been thinking these thoughts for years, I don't know. Now she tells him that Tom is mean as fuck. Okay? It used to be, honey, let me explain. And then that turned into, I'm talking. Oh, well, we saw that. The man does not like to be interrupted. I don't think that's a sign of his dementia, though. In Dorit's confessional, she said, I get why Erica kept it private. She had to defend her marriage for years. All people saw was the old man and the young woman. Now Kyle and Crystal defend the dementia thing by saying that, yes, Kyle knows someone that had dementia and Crystal's father had Alzheimer's, and they confirm that, yes, they can become angry and belligerent. And yes, that makes sense. Right? Because as they forget things, that's frustrating, right? And maybe they're starting to notice it when it's mild. And at the beginning, at least, they know something's going on with their brains. And yeah, it would make anybody angry and frustrated. Then they talk about Tom not being able to drive himself. Kyle said something about, like, so you drove him to work then? And Rinna goes, well, yeah, since the accident, and he broke his ankle. And Kyle goes, oh, I didn't even put those two things together. Okay, it's because of the accident. And Erica goes, I called you and told you Tom had a car accident, which was true, but I just didn't tell you the rest of it. He was unconscious for 12 hours. Everyone's like, what? Kyle, he was? Erica, I know, because I'm the one that found him. Dorit, what? It's not funny, but I mean, just the retelling is funny. He had a head injury, he snapped his ankle, and he broke his clavicle. Kyle, what? He drove into a wall or what? Erica, he drove off a cliff. I'm sorry. Guys, this story, along with the dropped jaws and the bulging eyes and the gasps of horror from the other ladies, is even better than confessional Erica. Can I just say that Erica has upped her storytelling game? She really has. This is so much better than the story about having THC on her vagina, which, I mean, in its own way, a wonderful story. Oh. Is that a smirk on Erica's face? Interesting. I think she's enjoying the story as much as I am. Dorit, that must have been so traumatic. Erica. Yep. Dorit, seeing your husband unconscious. Erica. Well, he wasn't in the car. He was down the hill. Sorry. Kyle, wait, he was out of the car? Erica, this old road behind our house, this old road behind our house that switchbacked. And by that I mean it went like this. And it was steep, somehow or another. This man, who has lived in that house for 30 plus years, drives up behind the f***ing house, takes a turn, but he ends up here and then tumbles out of the car. If you're having trouble picturing this, guys, Erica will be acting it out with her fingers. Okay, somehow this guy who's lived there 30 years, what do you mean somehow? Gee, I can't imagine. He's an 81-year-old whose vision and hearing is failing. Forget taking his bar card away. Somebody needs to take his driver's license away. You guys, this is so much better than the vagina monologues. Kyle says, so when he didn't come home, you finally went out looking for him? Erica, he finally called me. And I said, where have you been all day? Because I was just assuming he was with some other woman. I'm sorry. I am so afraid Dorit is going to swallow a mosquito. Or like a moth. Guys, this is top-notch storytelling. If Erica needs an income source, she could do speaking engagements. I would pay to go to an Erica Jane storytelling event. If she would take 1/4 of the profits to support her shitty little lifestyle, and 3/4 of the profits went toward paying the people that are waiting for their money. Start paying them what they're owed now. Don't make them wait for many more years while it's tied up in court. Get the money in their hands now. I would go see that show. So Kyle goes, wait a minute, you need to roll that back. What woman did you think he was with? Erica, who this just seems very tired right now, goes, oh, I don't know, any of them. Side note, somebody needs to get Garcelle on the phone right now. Put her on the table like Leah was at the Black Shabbat. She deserves to be part of this. So Kyle goes, well, obviously that means he was cheating on you. Erica, you have no idea what I've been living through. This is my life. Okay, not to be outdone, Kyle says. It's not the first time I've heard that. Okay, Erica. Yeah, right? And then Dorit maybe said, you've heard it? Kyle's like, yes. Geez, contain your glee, Kyle. You don't win a prize for knowing this. She backs way off in her confessional, though. Kyle does. She says, there are stories about everybody. So, I heard rumblings, but nothing solid. Okay. Kyle goes, so you're an 81-year-old man, and he's cheating on you? Erica, yeah. And that's some shit. I never went through his phone, touched his papers. I never touched anything. And after Yolanda divorced David, I just opened up that phone and was like, wow, okay. I found the evidence. Side note, opened? I always pictured Tom would have like an old rotary dial phone on his desk. In her confessional, Erica said, it was text messages, pictures. It felt like it was years long. Well, I know it was. Yes, but was it as damning as the text thread between Brandi Glanville and DFR? Erica tells everyone, I knew a lot because it was so hard to hide. And he was sloppy. Well, of course it was hard to hide. I'm not saying Tom is old, but the texts were telegrams and the pictures were paintings. Plus, his phone is yay big, so, that would be hard to hide. Kyle goes, did he deny it? Erica, nope. Kyle, why did you not leave if you knew he was cheating? Erica, where am I going? To your shitty little neighborhood. What do you mean? Why'd you leave now? Kyle, I don't know. You're so beautiful. You have your whole life ahead of you. Anywhere you want to go. Erica, he told me straight up, this is my house. Where am I going to go? Again, to your shitty little house in your shitty little neighborhood. Finally, Erica just said, listen, I'll be okay. I will be okay. But I'm not okay now. Silence. Sudden. Well, who wants some pancake cake? So few of them head into the kitchen to help her with the cake. And Rinna and Kyle stay back at the table to, hug Erica some more. At least now I get the hugging, because that was the best story ever. She is the F. Scott Fitzgerald of our time. Modern day Louisa May Alcott. So the pancake cake is served, and Lisa said, I measure my day by who has COVID, how's Erica, and is my daughter still dating Scott Disick? So picture this. I'm in my kitchen this morning, and Harry says to me, how did Scott Disick get into our lives? Well, everybody laughs. Kyle, so to be clear, they're still together? Kyle, can you ever let something go? Why, Kyle? Do you want a Scott Disick for your daughter now? Because Rinna got one? I'll tell you what, when Amelia turns 30, Scott Disick can start dating Portia. Actually, no, because in 11 years, Portia will be 24. And that'll be too old. Well, that is a wrap on episode 10, you guys. That was such a good one. Thanks to Erica Jane. Sorry, I have to say it. I got to give the MVP to Erica for episode 10. And in previews, instead of previewing what's on next week, they say coming up in the season. And it looks like a lot of good stuff, lots of juicy stuff coming up. So I can't wait. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I really do appreciate it. If you liked this recap, please consider subscribing to my channel, giving this episode a thumbs up, and leaving a comment down below. If you want to be notified every time I have a new video post, then go ahead and click on the little bell icon. That's it for me. I will see you next week with the next recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I love you guys. I'll see you then. Bye.